Hello, it's Alex, the Booktubers. Today I'm going to be taking a look back at 2023 and a look forward to 2024. I know we're already mostly through January at this point, so this video might be a little late coming, but hey, I think it's still relevant and I still wanted to do this video. This is probably going to be a fairly long and somewhat rambly video, so yeah, get comfy, get a snack, get a drink, and settle in. I'm going to go through some reading stats for the year and then also have a look back on the goals I had for 2023 and see if I accomplished them or not. I'm also going to just talk about some other things that I did or accomplished during the year, and then I will end the video with some goals for 2024. I even made notes for this video, so that's exciting. And I figured I would just start off with talking about my reading year in 2023. And according to Goodreads, I read 111 books, which is definitely the most I've ever read in one year, number of books wise at least. I don't do like a number goal of books that I would like to read a year, so this really was a surprise for me to just see the number at the end of the year and be like, wow, that's a lot of books. I guess I will say two things that probably factored into that number, and one of them is that a lot of those books were short books. I read a lot of middle grade and vintage young adult, so they're all very short, quick reads. And also I have a bus commute to and from work, and that is where I get most of my reading done. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't read nearly as much as I do. So that's definitely a big factor in how I read as much as I do. I definitely don't think I'm a particularly fast reader. I think I'm a pretty average reader, but anyway, so number of books, 111, amazing. And I'll just go through some stats with you and compare them to the previous year, 2022. So obviously I think it goes without saying that most of what I read was horror. There were a few other things in there as well, but yeah, horror was definitely the majority. And you know, I love vintage horror specifically. The previous year, and I think probably it's been similar for, you know, before then as well, it's usually like 2/3 vintage, 1/3 contemporary that I'm reading. But it actually changed a bit this past year, and I read 55% vintage and 45% contemporary. So that's getting closer to 50-50 there, which is interesting. It wasn't a conscious thing. I was really just, picking up books that interested me. The percentages here are rough, you know, they're just to give a rough idea. But male authors to female authors was 64% male to 36% female, which I think is slightly more skewed towards male authors than it was the previous year. You know, I do really try to read more diverse authors, and I think it's definitely something I've made more of a point of to do in the past, like with my Nightmare Queens series and things like that. I think this year I just wasn't really making a point of doing anything in particular. I was just kind of reading what I was gravitating towards. So I do have a lot of books on my shelves because they're vintage ones. A lot of them are male authors, so I think that played a part in it. Fiction to non-fiction was, 95% fiction and 5% non-fiction. Pretty much the same as previous years. I don't read a lot of non-fiction. I generally, just gravitate more towards fiction, I guess. Okay, then I broke down the type of books that I was reading. Books that I already owned at the beginning of the year. Books that I bought during the year or received as gifts. Books I borrowed from the library, and books I received for review. So in 2023, I read 48% of books I owned. So that's almost half, which, you know, definitely room for improvement, but not too bad. Books I bought or received as gifts throughout the year was 29%. That's actually quite a lot. So I need to work on that. Books I borrowed from the library was 9%. Love the library. Libraries are awesome. Very happy to use mine as and when. and books I received for review was actually 15%, which was actually quite a lot, more than I thought it would be. I don't consider myself like a book reviewer, you know, I'm not one of those people that gets every single book that comes out in order to review it. It's actually not something that I'm interested in doing either, but yeah, I definitely do like to keep an eye out on what is coming out and what interests me amongst that lot. So I had a few opportunities throughout the year to accept books for review. If someone offers me a book for review and I'm interested in it, then yeah, typically I will say yes to it, and I do like to keep on top of those and follow through with reading and reviewing it as soon as I can, or you know, around the release date, if that's what they want. Compared to 2022, my numbers were slightly different. I did read more books that I owned. I read 60% books I owned versus the 48% of last year, and the books that I bought or received during the year was only 20% as opposed to the 29% of 2023. I read more from the library. I read 15% versus 9%, and I read less books for review. It was only 5% in 2022 versus the 15% in 2023. So yeah, that's a lot of percentages and stats. So I'll move on to just quickly running through my star ratings for the year, and I have already shared my best books of 2023 video. I had a top 8 of incredible books that really stood out to me from the 111 books I read during the year. So if you haven't already watched that, then I will try and remember to leave a link below, and yeah, please do go check it out. There might be something there that you haven't read and might interest you. So okay, star ratings. I had 5 5-star books, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm very picky with giving out 5 stars. Some people seem to do it willy-nilly. If a book is decent, they'll give it 5 stars. It has to be a very special book for me to give it 5 stars. And no shade on how you rate your own books. Do what you want. It's your rating, you know. People get so funny about star ratings. Like, personally, I give star ratings for myself. Like, I just find that's a really easy reminder for me when I'm then looking back on a book that I've read like 5 years ago, and I can be like, oh yeah, it was just a 3-star read. I know what that means to me. Or, you know, if it was one that was a 4-star read, I know what that means to me. So if my star ratings are helpful to anyone else, then that is a bonus. I read 3 4.5-star books, so that was cool. I then read 58 4-star books. So yeah, I read a lot of 4-star books. 4 stars to me is still an excellent book. It's just not one that like blew my mind completely. So 4 stars are still books that I would highly recommend. So 61% of all of my books that I read was 4 stars or over. So, you know, getting close to 2/3 of what I read. I'm happy with that, you know, that's a really good ratio that most of what I read was great. I read 22 books that I rated 3.5 stars. I mean, even a 3.5-star book, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad book, you know, that's still a good book. I read 17 books that were 3 stars, and then the lower ratings, you know, a 2-star and a 1-star are ones that I personally would not recommend. I didn't like them for whatever reason. I only had 3 2-star books and 1 1-star book, so that's negligible. The fact that I had so few books that I didn't enjoy is pretty great. And I think I DNF'd 2 books. I didn't actually write that down for some reason, but I'm going by memory. I think there were 2 books that I DNF'd, so yeah, I'm not a big DNF'er. I need to get better at that, honestly. But yeah, that wraps up, I guess, all my stats of reading for 2023. So moving on to the goals that I had at the beginning of 2023, and did I actually accomplish them? So a couple of my goals were just very simple ones: to keep reading horror and to keep making videos for my channel. So yes and yes to both of those. I also wanted to make a point of writing more. I had a short story called Titanium that came out the previous year in the Lurking in the Dark anthology, and yeah, that was such a great experience for me, and I had some really good feedback from my story. So yeah, I really did want to make a point of putting some more time and effort into writing, and I did submit 3 stories throughout the year of 2023. So I was really proud of myself for doing that, kind of getting out of my comfort zone, and I didn't expect any of them to get accepted, so I wasn't disappointed when I got rejections. It was more just the process of writing, actually completing something and, you know, submitting it with a deadline involved, you know, those kind of things. I was still happy with my accomplishments in that respect. So 2 of the stories that I submitted earlier in the year, yeah, didn't get accepted. That's fine, I didn't expect to. The 3rd story, the deadline was the end of December. So I believe they are, you know, still in the process of reading through everything that they've received, and they haven't as yet sent out responses to people, whether they've been accepted or not. So again, I don't expect to get in. Obviously it would be amazing if I did, but yeah, I will keep you posted either way. Okay, other goals that I had for 2023. Continue with my bookshelf tour. I made 2 more videos throughout the year, which I know might not seem like very much, but they are very time heavy videos to make, both the filming and the editing. So I was still pleased that I made 2. Let's see what else. I wanted to read books that I own. So yeah, as we know, I didn't do super great on that prompt. I guess throughout the year it wasn't something I was like fixating on. I wasn't telling myself, oh no, I can't read that because I didn't own it already at the beginning of the year. Like I said before, I was just reading what I wanted to read. So I still don't think I did too badly with, 48% that I owned already. But I do want to try harder this year. And the last goal that was on my 2023 list was to finish the Point Horror books. So this is the original series of Point Horror books, the ones that were released in the UK at least. I had 17 left at the beginning of 2023 and I read 8 of them. So I guess I cut it down by half-ish, but I did not complete the task. So I am hoping to do that this year. While I'm here, I did want to run through just a few other things that happened in 2023, not necessarily, you know, goals I had or anything, but just to give you like an overview of my year. So I did hit 6,000 subscribers. This was actually in December of 2023. So yeah, a big thank you to anyone and everyone who has subscribed to my channel, anyone who watches my videos and sits through my ramblings and my ums and my yeahs and my you knows. So thank you. It really does mean a lot that you would tune in and watch any of my videos. So I'm forever grateful to anyone that has actually subscribed after maybe seeing one of my videos and thinking they might want to see more. So yeah, big thank you to everyone. 6K is definitely a milestone to mark, and while I know I say this all the time, I know numbers aren't the reason that I have my channel. It's not something that motivates me to keep doing my channel. It's, you know, very much related to the community aspect of things, but yeah, like I said, that's still a milestone to hit and I'm very grateful, so thank you. Also in 2023 I did the 23 books to read in 2023. I didn't quite finish them. I ended up reading 21 of the 23 though, which I thought was pretty good, and then I did knock out the last 2 this month, earlier in January, so I'll talk about that in my January wrap-up. So I did eventually accomplish reading all of those 23 books, which I'm really pleased with, and I decided not to do a 24 books to read in 2024 just because I like the idea of doing those things, but I always feel like I end up pushing them off till the end of the year and then cramming them all in, and so yeah, I would rather just wing it and just figure things out as I go along throughout the year. Another thing I did in 2023 was another scary sleepover weekend. That was actually last January, so that's a whole year ago, which is crazy. I can't believe that much time has gone by. But yeah, that was a January Blues scary sleepover weekend and it was really fun. So yeah, thank you again to everyone who joined in with that. And I did also join in with a couple of other readathons throughout the year. The ones that jump out to me are Old School April, of course, which was amazing, so much fun, and I can't wait for this year's one. And also Garb August, yeah, which was also a really great experience and such a fun time, and yeah, so many people involved in that. So those were 2, fun readathons throughout the year. I wouldn't be able to look back on 2023 without thinking of Pax, of course. I mean, just so incredibly sad that she passed away last year, and I know it really did affect the whole community. She was, yeah, an absolute gem of a person, but I know she's not going to be forgotten, and she will always be a part of the book community here. I did also want to mention some other things kind of outside of BookTube and reading specifically, but just some kind of highlights of my year. StokerCon I attended in, I think it was June. I did do a video about my experience there, and what a great experience it was. I was definitely super nervous about going. I'm not a big con person, I don't really like crowds, and I get anxious when going to like unfamiliar places and all of that stuff. But I'm really glad I stepped out of my comfort zone. It was amazing to finally meet Regina and Lydia. Like, I mean, you know, those are two people that I've known for so long through BookTube, and yeah, it was just such a wonderful time to meet them in person and hang out. So yeah, that was awesome. The reason that I was able to go, because it is quite expensive, was that it was hosted in Pittsburgh, which is where I currently live. So, you know, that meant I didn't have to factor in travel costs or accommodation costs. It was just the ticket cost that I had to pay. I'm very glad, you know, very grateful that it was kind of that easy for me to attend. I believe this year's is in San Diego, and yeah, unfortunately I would not be able to afford to do that. So sadly I won't be going this year, but if it's ever a bit closer in future, then I would absolutely consider going if I could afford it. I also, in 2023, went on my first holiday in over 4 years. So yeah, I actually went away for just over 2 weeks back to the UK, and I met up with my mum and my sister, and yeah, we just had such an amazing time together. It's been years since we've all been in the same room together, and we'd been, yeah, trying to plan a get together for a couple of years, and yeah, for one reason or another it just wasn't able to happen. But yeah, 2023 was the year that it finally did. We did a bunch of things going out and about, and also, yeah, just staying in together was lovely too. So yeah, lots of wonderful memories from that trip, and definitely the highlight of my year, basically. I also went to a couple of gigs, music shows, whatever you want to call them. I saw Skinny Puppy. Here's one of my t-shirts, because they were supposed to play in April, and the support band Lead Into Gold, who are excellent, played, and then after that they announced that unfortunately Skinny Puppy were not going to play due to illness of the lead singer, Ogre. So then I was waiting and waiting for them to reschedule it, and yeah, eventually they did, and they came back to Pittsburgh in November. So I got to see Lead Into Gold again as support, and then finally got to see Skinny Puppy, and it was amazing. I had such a good time, and yeah, they played some of my favourites, so it was just such a great experience to see them live, and yeah, definitely some more great memories from the year. I also saw Duran Duran, but we received the tickets as a gift. It's kind of a long story I won't bother going into, but anyway, we saw Duran Duran, which was also amazing. This one was at like a big venue, like the kind of which I'd never been to before, so that was pretty crazy. But yeah, they put on an amazing show. Yeah, I played a bunch of classics. It was, yeah, such a good time, had so much fun, and I mean, they're such icons. It was, yeah, just kind of crazy to like actually see them live. So yeah, that was a great experience too. Okay, just a couple more things to mention from 2023. My husband and I did a rewatch of Twin Peaks. So it's one of my favourite shows, and it was the first time we had rewatched The Return. So I have seen seasons 1 and 2, you know, kind of multiple times over the years, but this was the first time that we were able to watch all of it, you know, in one go from start to finish, including The Return. And yeah, what an incredible experience. I enjoyed The Return the first time I watched it, but seeing it after, you know, immediately after watching the rest was, yeah, even more impactful. And we had, yeah, just a really good time kind of hunkering down and working our way through so many episodes, and of course Firewalk with Me in there as well. and we ate lots of donuts and a couple of cherry pies, and yeah, it was a great time. So highly recommend. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was Bleak Week, which is our December Bleak movie watch-a-thon for like a week of Bleak movies. And yeah, this 2023 was the 3rd annual, and we watched some amazing movies. They were amazingly bleak as well, but excellent films. And yeah, I will leave a link to that video as well if you want to hear my thoughts on the films we watched. Okay, so we're getting closer to what will hopefully be the end of this video if you're still here. Goals for 2024. I don't really have many. I think my usual keep reading horror and keep making videos on this channel are, you know, the given goals of any year. So hopefully I can at least accomplish those. Readathon wise, I don't have any plans to do another Scary Sleepover weekend anytime soon. That's not to say I'm ruling it out. I just don't have any plans to. I guess with it being just a weekend event, that kind of is the beauty of it, but also the curse of it too, I feel like. And there are just so many other readathons and events taking place that I just sometimes feel like it's hard to find a time to fit it in when there's nothing else going on. And then I overthink it and just don't do it at all. So anyway, don't have any plans to do one, but who knows, that might change in the future. I will be taking part in the Gothic Hearts reading challenge, which is happening in February. I have shared my TBR video for that already, so yeah, definitely go check that out if you're interested in reading some Gothic literature in February. And in my video I've linked all of the hosts' channels as well, so you can go check them out. I am very much looking forward to Old School April and Garb August again. Yeah, they've been a lot of fun in the past, and I have no doubt that the ones this year will be lots of fun too, so very much looking forward to those. I do have a readathon / watchathon planned, which I'm keeping secret for now, but it is going to be taking place in the month of July, so keep your eyes peeled for details about that a bit closer to the time. I am super excited for this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and then finally decided, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I have 2 amazing co-hosts. I'm just really excited for us to, yeah, dive into this. And I know July is like forever away, so it's gonna be a while before I reveal what on earth it is I'm talking about, but keep your eyes peeled. Okay, 2 more things on my goals list. One of them is to write, or at least start writing, what I think will be a novella. There's an idea that I've had for like years now that I've really wanted to put to paper, and just, you know, myself has prevented me from doing it, you know, just self-sabotage really, and just procrastinating on the whole idea. So yeah, having written a few short stories in 2023, I feel like I want to transition into focusing on this, which I think will be a bit of a longer format. Who knows what I will accomplish during the year, but I hope to at least make a start on it. And my final goal is to finish reading the Point horror books. Since I'm so close to finishing them, I feel like I can definitely make this happen during 2024. Let's see, I think I have 9 left, and I already read one this month in January. So yeah, totally doable. I can definitely do this. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed revisiting the Point horror books over the past handful of years. You know, some of them are rereads for me, some of them were ones I didn't read back in the day, so they're completely new to me. I always say this, but even the bad ones are still enjoyable to a certain degree, and yeah, they're just a good old nostalgic time for me. So I hope to finish those, and yeah, I guess when I'm done with them I can actually do like a favourites video, which I think will be a lot of fun. Okay, well, I think that's enough rambling for one video, so I will wrap this up. So do let me know if you have any ideas or suggestions for me, for my channel, videos you want to see, anything like that. I'd be interested to hear. Obviously, you know, please be constructive in your criticism if you have any. It's been quite a year, 2023, definitely has had its ups and downs, but there have been a lot of good memories to look back on overall, so I'll take that. I hope 2024 is treating you all well so far and that it is an amazing year for you. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video.